information and competing for the same properties. GaryAshton.com gives you the edge with the best real estate intel in Nashville. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate agent of the Tennessee Titans. Get the confidence to sell your home without the stress and with time to find your dream address by calling the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage today at 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com. Remember, don't sell without the intel.
It's time for the Tennessee Tailgate Show with Will Boling and Ron Slade on Nashville's home for Vols football, 104.5 The Zone.
Tennessee just dominated a team in the Southeastern Conference. That was the most relaxing Tennessee game I can remember against an SEC team not named Vanderbilt. Welcome into the Tennessee Tailgate Show. It is time to react to a dominant display by Josh Heupel's Tennessee Volunteers, 62-24. The Vols on top in Columbia, Missouri this afternoon. Will Boling with you alongside my guy, a Vol for life, the man himself, Ron Slade. We've got some victory laps to take.
Hey, man.
Over the course of the next hour and 45 minutes. We will lead you into Oklahoma State and Baylor right here on the Zone coming up at 6 o'clock. But Slay,
yes,
a victorious post-game show here on the Zone. How are we?
Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Let me let the people know we are in the building.
Yes.
We're in the no, better yet, we're in the end zone. We're in the end zone. People, that's what it's about. They wondering what Josh Heupel is going to bring. What's it like to see this offense clicking and the foot on the gas? I don't care who you playing. Out of the school of the blind, the school of nurses, the school of doctors. I don't care. You step on that field in those white lines. This is what I want to see. And yes, people, we took our lumps. So when it's an opportunity to put our foot on the gas and celebrate, you better believe we are coming all the way through and celebrating, Will. I'm hyped. I am hyped.
I'm with you. I am with you. Lane Kiffin, of course, saying at the beginning of Ole Miss, Alabama, get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready for this show over the next hour and 45 minutes. But unlike Ole Miss, we're actually going to deliver. Ole Miss, Alabama does not require your attention anymore.
Man.
The Tennessee Tailgate Show is going to be infinitely more entertaining than watching Alabama's backups put up more points on Ole Miss.
Exactly.
The phone number, Ron Slay, 615-737-1045. Vols fans, we are calling on you to call on us. 615-737-1045. Tennessee fans, how are you feeling after a 62-24 win over Missouri? The Vols get the job done. Hendon Hooker was terrific. The ground game was excellent, but Slay, the offensive line for this Tennessee team that had been so bad over the course of Bowling Green, Pittsburgh, Florida, they were okay. This offensive line looked legitimately great today against Missouri.
Yes, they did. And this isn't even a complete offensive line. This is in a sense, patchwork offensive line. Reason being, we've had guys gone from the offensive line that worked as a unit last year. This group is getting going, and as soon as they get going, you take a cog out of it, like Cooper Mays. Is it K Mays? Cooper Mays. Mays, you pull Cooper Mays out because of injury, and you just slide and you replace next man up mentality. And this line answered the call. Not only in the first quarter, not only in the second quarter, the entire game. Like, it was impressive to see the backups be able to get in, move the ball, get guys moving up front, create holes, and the running backs hit it, and trust the holes. You didn't see running backs tipping or trying to get outside. They waited on the hole to be open, saw a crease, took it, and booyah. That's exactly what we got to see. So, man, they gave Hendon Hooker plenty of time to throw. I'm pleased, man. I am very, very pleased. I know it's something to grow on, but we said in the beginning, we're going to take this show and this season week by week, win by win. So when a win comes up like this, we celebrate it. We'll wash it away come Tuesday. Not Monday, because we're going to celebrate it today, Sunday, and Monday. Tuesday, we wash it away, and we get ready for South Carolina. But for right now, I am pleased with the offensive line, love where they are, and they can only get better. Only get better.
615-737-1045 is the phone number. Tennessee fans, how confident are you in Josh Heupel leading this Tennessee offense, but leading this Tennessee program after a 62-24 win today over Missouri in Columbia? Let's go through the highlights of this one as we take a look back. Tennessee in the first half was as good as Tennessee has been in a first half that I can remember. Javonte Payton at the very beginning of this game, a 35-yard pass from Hendon Hooker, ending a 5 plays, 57-yard drive that took 1 minute and 15 seconds off the clock. Harrison Mevis would add a field goal, for Missouri, a 14-play, 50-yard drive for the Tigers. And then Tennessee, all they would do is come back, Tyon Evans' 8-yard run, interception, then they would have they would force a punt by Missouri, and then a 92-yard touchdown run by Tyon Evans, and then a 1-yard touchdown run by Tyon Evans. Slay, you had drives of a minute 15, a minute 52, 12 seconds, and 5 seconds. That is what we were sold when we were sold on Josh Heupel, and we were told that this would be a high-octane, exciting, fun-to-watch offense. This is the first time that we can say, yep, that's exactly what we were promised when Tennessee hired Josh Heupel.
That is exactly what we were promised, and that is exactly what we got to see. As I am, hold on, I'm slowing down, Will, just because I'm posting on IG Live.
I've never heard you say that you're slowing down ever in your life.
I did.
It's a rare moment for you.
You want to hear it often. So now that's posted. But now what I'm saying is, this is exactly what we were promised, and this is exactly what we got to see. But you know what, Will? We got to see the potential in the recent games.
Yeah.
Especially when, now, it was a point when Milton had these same opportunities early in the season. He didn't hit them. But when he did get the opportunity to hit them, it was like, oh, man, this can be special.
Yeah.
You see Tillman getting the grab. Then Hooker comes in, plays in the Pittsburgh game. You're like, now wait a minute. Now he's getting the ball to guys in open space. Tillman got in, caught it, took off down the sideline, touchdown, come back the next week against Florida, and you see him hitting Peyton, and he's in control of the offense.
Yeah. The
receivers are running routes with not only patience but confidence that the ball's going to be delivered to them. So it's not running, Will, and you see them and at the top of their route, they're stopping and they're looking over their head like, oh, no, here we go again. And this is no knock to Milton. It is what it is. This is all we got to go with. So I'm saying I love where we are. I like this offense. I'm excited about this offense. I want this energy week in and week out. Will it be there? I think so, because honestly, I felt this way against Florida last week.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem with Florida, we said it going into it, the depth could be a problem.
Right.
Man.
And the depth was going to be a concern today. I was concerned as soon as I saw that Cooper Mays wasn't going to play at center.
Yep.
Kingston Harris, a backup guard, out again today. Trayvon Flowers. And we were told all summer, Ron Slay, that inside linebacker was a position where Tennessee could not afford to have an injury.
Yeah.
Jawan Mitchell doesn't play today.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremy Banks stepped up.
Hey, man.
The interception, and even better than that, no 15-yard penalties
Come
from
on,
him.
man. Now, to see, Will, listen, all I'm saying is I'm almost ready to start telling people I'm Vostradamus. I'm almost ready because I said coming into this on 3HL this week, Brent asked me who did I need to step up, and I said Jeremy Banks.
Yeah.
And listen, and that's not negating what the defensive line did because they got pressure, held their lanes all day, a couple of screens got away, but that's a great running back on the Missouri side also. So he gets opportunities, he's going to make something happen. But outside of that, man, Jeremy, man, he was in the hole for the run, dropping back for the pass to pick it off, have the awareness to take it back and run it, and almost scored. Like, man, we need playmakers. I said going into the Florida game, we can hit on 2 deep balls, and we can get one defensive score. Hey, man, we got an opportunity. We had an opportunity in the Florida game. They carried that over. At the end of that Florida game, the players said, we are not going to quit. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to keep fighting.
Alontae Taylor said it.
Yes.
And he was exactly right. Said, we're not going to fall apart like we did last year.
I gave myself chill bumps. Come on, Hypo, you doing this to me?
615-737-1045 is where you join us. We go to the phones. Our first call of the show. Shibs is in Mount Juliet. Shibs, welcome in as we react to this win. How are you?
What's up, guys? It's actually Hibbs, but that's cool.
I
Yeah,
got you.
that's cool too. Hibbs
What's
and
up, Hibbs?
Shibs. I gave myself
My
two
apologies.
Hibbs. Now you're Hibbs. What's
Slay,
up?
you know what that game reminded me of? It reminded me of one of those basketball games where in the fourth quarter you see all the white team managers get out there and start jacking up threes because they're up so damn high in the game.
Yeah.
Who was Slay? Who was the running back that was out there scoring the touchdowns late in the game that apparently is a walk-on? I've never heard of him before, but hey, he looked so happy out there, just running wild, and it just felt like one of those types of games where the coach could throw in anybody at that point in time because it was so out of hand at that point in time.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I don't know who it was, and I can almost guarantee we may not never get to see him again unless it's the second game towards the end of the season. You just look on the schedule and see what that is, and you'll figure that part out. But I'm saying that's what it's about. These guys work hard all week, and I just want to say this for the fans. When people say take your foot off the gas, you cannot take your foot up. Okay. I'm going to take my foot off the gas as a coach when the other team waves the white flag and quits.
Sure.
Because other than that, I'm not going to punish my guys for working hard all week long, then getting here and performing the way we wanted them to perform to the T, and then say, hey, man, y'all know what? Let's pull it off. Coach, wait a minute now. All you say is play together, play smart,
Right.
play hard, play fast. Now pull it back. Now, Coach, this ain't going with what you're teaching. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. So,
Right.
So get that, pull it off the game. And I understand sportsmanship and all that. That's cool. So good sportsmanship also is not to lay on your shield and fall and not get up. So wave your white flag, put your third stringers in. We'll put ours in, and we'll see where we in. Other than that, put on more steam, baby. Let's go.
And you can bring more steam on the phone line, 615-737-1045. You can also chat with us on 1045 The Zone TV. Get in the comments on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. And you can watch as well on Twitter Live here across all of 1045 The Zone's social platforms.
Yeah.
Slade, the biggest key that I had for this game was for Tennessee to start quickly. Because of how Tennessee lost against Florida,
Right.
not playing as well in the second half. It would have been really easy for Tennessee to continue its performance from the second half instead of its performance from the first half against Florida. It also would have been really easy for Missouri, after a deflating loss at Boston College in overtime last week, to come out flat in a noon game, not a great atmosphere today.
Yeah.
Tennessee needed to take advantage of the way Missouri lost, but also take advantage on the positives that happened in the first half against Gainesville. It's exactly what Tennessee did today. They completely ended this football game after one quarter. The interception by Jeremy Banks was a huge moment early on in this one. And I thought Tennessee did such a good job in recognizing an opportunity to run away with this one before it even really got started and Missouri even had a chance to stop Josh Heupel's offense.
You're totally right. You're totally right. And I love with them getting started. We understand that we want to run our offense, stay with the scheme, stay with the strategy, and be who we are. But when a team comes in wounded, this is
Got to pounce.
yeah, this
Like
is the
teams did against Tennessee last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bingo. So now you have this opportunity. Yes, Missouri can't stop the run against anyone. Now, we could have easily came out and said, hey, man, this is going to be the aerial attack. We're going to throw it all over the place. Man, this is what I like about Heupel. We saw it early on in the first game of the season.
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
Yeah.
We saw adjustments. Not just sticking with it like,
You're right.
okay, man, you know what? I'm going to run this ball. They can't stop it. Run it down their throat the second half. This game, along with the aerial attack, man, the running game, it started it all. And that's what they said. They can't stop the run. Well, let's see. Boom. 92 yards.
Yep.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now, is this an anomaly or what? But we'll go back to it. And they did it over and over and over, and that opened up the passing game. So, hey, man, I love the coaching staff. I love what they're doing. I love how they're making adjustments on the fly, and I love how you take exactly what the defense gives you, and you can abuse that. And that's exactly what you see Heupel doing. And the guys buying into it. Like, that's big time.
Dustin is in Nashville and wants to chat about this one. Dustin, welcome in. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for taking my call, man. It's so good to see this. I know it's a, first run in a long time that we've had, going into SEC play, and yes, it's just Missouri, but at the same time, we really, really needed this game. It's just so good to see, the X's and O's finally execute on this offense, because we know the potential has been there. Just had to execute better. I think the guys had to get more comfortable. I just hope that we can keep that momentum going, because it's all about the run game. If that's stalling, then we're kind of one-sided and limited. Mm-hmm. But if the run game gets going, it's really a tough offense to deal with. So I'm excited to see that. I think we really needed that momentum, not only on the field, but in recruiting. We got to get some guys excited about this program.
Yeah, thank you for the call, Dustin. Momentum is a big word there. And the way that you get momentum, Ron Slay, in a football game, explosive plays. Mm-hmm. This coming from Bill Martin, the sports information director for Tennessee, on Twitter. Last year, in the entire season, Tennessee had 14 plays that covered 30 yards or more. Through 5 games this year, Tennessee has 14 plays that have covered 30 yards or more. The Vols have equaled the amount of explosive plays it had all of last season through 5 games this year. 40-yard plays. Let's up the ante a little bit more. Tennessee had 3 of those. 3 plays on offense that covered 40 yards or more through 5 games this year. The Vols have more than doubled that total. 7 plays of 40 yards or more, and a lot of those came today in this win, where Tennessee had 15.5 yards per play in the first quarter when they led 28-3. And I believe, Ron Slay, by the midway point of the second quarter, you know what Tennessee's time of possession was?
What?
3 minutes. Midway through the second quarter, Tennessee had the ball for about 3.5 minutes.
Wow.
Now, you're not always going to do that.
No.
Obviously. But if you're putting a blueprint out and you're a film writer building a script of what a Josh Heupel game would look like when this offense is at its best and when this defense is at its best, it was Tennessee and Missouri today in a 62-24 win.
Hey, man, I tell you what, you are spot on about it, Will. And talking about that, when you look at what they're able to put out there on the field, you hear about it, you see, we saw it in the preseason. Oh, man, these guys are out there having a lot of fun. They're playing kickball, they're playing dodgeball, going to play softball.
I was ready to see them have fun in the game.
You know what I'm saying? and this right here should tell us, man, have the patience to watch it. Now, Heupel isn't the guy that's going to come out like a Coach Prime at Jackson State, like a Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and be able to hoot and holler and get you on board with his speech. But, boy, by his actions.
Yeah.
Man, the things he does out there on the field, you got to love what you see. And then when you go and you turn the page and look at recruiting,
there's a lot of offensive players that I would be really, really loving the opportunity to play in this Josh Heupel offense just after today's game.
We are looking at it to go with all the numbers that you just gave. If I'm looking at this, I see screaming off the page to me, big play opportunity. And everybody gets it, from the receivers to the running backs to the quarterback. And not only those guys that are out there starting, the tempo's so fast, you get to see the guys behind them get the opportunities as well. So, hey, man, this is the right way right here. And this is, at the beginning of the season, we asked 2 things, Will, and I'm going to get back to you. One, we asked, can we see excitement watching these games? We know we're not going to the national championship. Not right now. Not right now. But can it be exciting? Can it be exciting? And can we win the games we are supposed to win? Right now, I'm going to check the boxes, yes and yes.
And Tennessee was a field goal underdog today.
Come on now.
And you and I were all over Tennessee money line coming into this game.
Oh, yeah,
and not just because of where we went to school. Right. We were over Tennessee money line because it was a good pick with the way that Missouri was coming off of that loss. Yep. And Slay, this is the thing that I'm most excited about. You could join us at 615-737-1045 if you want to jump in. Tennessee has gotten better every week.
Yes.
That is the thing that excites me the most today. What's the biggest thing that we were talking about for this team coming into this game? Can they be disciplined and take away the penalty yardage after a game against Florida where, again, they weren't disciplined, they gave away a lot of plays on the field, and They still had a lot of penalties once again. I believe 10 penalties last week again against Florida.
Yep.
Today, 2 penalties for 20 yards
Yeah.
for this Tennessee team.
Yeah.
That is getting better every week. The offensive line, we've mentioned their improvement since that Pittsburgh game. The quarterback play has obviously gotten a lot better.
Yes.
Since those first couple of games, and we will certainly get to that over the course of today's show. But if I'm picking one thing and one element of this win that I think is the most exciting to me, it's that we can look back and see steady improvement in pretty much every facet of the game, from forcing turnovers to Tennessee eliminating turnovers. They didn't turn the ball over at all today. The little things that win you games in the SEC are all seeming to come together for Tennessee.
Right.
Let's not even talk about who was on the field on the other side today. Missouri is not going to do a whole lot when it comes to you making penalties.
Right.
When it comes to you fumbling the football. A little bit, obviously, the defense can impact that. I'm not saying that that's not the case.
Right.
But that is something that, regardless of your opponent, we can look and say, yeah, Missouri can't stop the run.
Right.
But Tennessee was much more disciplined today. They didn't throw it to the other team, and they didn't fumble it. Those are things that you could point to and say Tennessee is better regardless of who you're playing. That's what excites me the most, because Missouri has nothing to do with that element of today's win.
And you know what, Will? The reason I don't give Missouri a pass, and I don't want it brought up anymore, and anybody that brings it up, I'm going to challenge them on it, is because at the beginning of this season, when you ranked the SEC East, Missouri on a lot of people's was 3rd or 4th in the rankings of the SEC East, with Georgia being 1. And some people had UK moved higher, which they are right now. We'll see what happens with them later tonight. But then right after UK and Florida, Mizzou was right there knocking on the door. So
I thought they would make a big step forward this season and be pretty good.
Listen, man, I looked back in my notes and saw where I ranked them. I had Georgia, Florida, Mizzou, Tennessee, then Kentucky. So in the SEC East.
Yeah.
That's totally wrong. There's no doubt. But that's why I'm not going to give a pass to them. People saying, it's just Missouri. No. A lot of people picked Missouri to finish high. A lot of people were drinking the drink with Kool-Aid when they came into the season.
Right.
And he was supposed to do a lot more than what he's done right now. He's not doing that. I'm not giving him a pass. We want it all. Put it on the table. We want to eat.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump in. Tennessee fans, the question today, what was your favorite part of today's win over Missouri? 62-24, the Vols on top. We want to hear from you and get your reaction at 615-737-1045. Slay, the favorite quote coming out of this game, Josh Heupel talking to the media saying, obviously that's the best we've been since we've been here. Proud of the kids. Let's enjoy this for a bit, but, and you're going to love this, let's understand we're still just scratching the surface of what we can be here. There's still so many things we can and we need to improve. That is the Saban way of you coach and you play and you ignore the scoreboard. That is what Nick Saban has built at Alabama. It's what Bill Belichick has built with the New England Patriots. Any dynasty is built on playing to the same standard regardless of the opponent and regardless of the score. I love hearing that from Josh Heupel.
And this is what you got to see last week when we wasn't so much of hearing Heupel speak, but more so looking at the players and see if their mental was shaken after that Florida game. But once we heard them speak right after the game, right after, and a lot of times coaches are like, come on, man, let me talk to them, let it soak in, let them shower, get it off of them, and then we can talk to the media. No, the media was in there right away, and you saw guys stepping up and talking and saying their soundboard for exactly how Heupel just sounded. So that's perfect. The players are eating it up. The coaches, you now get to see what he's saying through the players, through their actions. I'm straight. I don't need nothing else. Keep showing me that, and win, lose, or draw, I'll come to support you regardless, day in and day out.
615-737-1045 is how you can join us. Let's take our first break. When we come back, Tony, JR, you will lead us off. Tennessee fans, what was your favorite part of the win today for the Vols over the Tigers? 615-737-1045. We're only getting started. It's the Tennessee Tailgate Show, and it's 1045 The Zone.
So then I dropped some garlic and croutons on there, and the rest is salad history. I made the best salad ever, people. And now I'm making the best.
To 24 over Missouri. The Vols get the job done. You heard it right here via the Vol Network on 104.5 The Zone. You can join us at 615-737-1045. We go back to the phones, Ron Slay,
Okay, let's talk
where
to him.
Tony is in Hendersonville to talk with us. Tony, what's going on?
Hey, best thing about that game was an SEC tight game, we thought, over in the first half, man. We haven't seen that enough. And I want to get Ron fired up. And there's a bunch of people coming back from Columbia by truck, car, bus. Car ain't got no roof.
Yes,
Truck ain't got no roof.
Yes, sir.
Bus ain't got no roof.
Yeah.
Some of them are the airplane. I hope the airplane got a roof.
I love it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. You better believe it, man. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody that went up at the Columbia, man, and supported the Vols, man, salute to you for going out there and holding it down. Be safe coming back. Tune in to us, and you know we got you. We got you. So guess what? He is exactly right. We said it going into the weekend. Car ain't got no roof. It ain't got one. It ain't got one. And Hyper ain't got one. That's why he just popped it off. That's why he popped it off, man. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
All right, love you, man. See ya.
Brother. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Tony.
That's the energy we're looking for, man.
And we're looking for lots more of that energy. 615-737-1045, the phone number. Slay, Tyon Evans this season.
Yeah.
Against Bowling Green, a 19-yard touchdown run. Against Tennessee Tech, a 1-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
Against Florida, a 47-yard touchdown catch.
Mm-hmm.
And against Missouri, an 8-yard touchdown run, a 92-yard touchdown run, looking like Derrick Henry, and a 1-yard touchdown run today. You know how many rushing touchdowns Tennessee's rushing leader had last year?
How many?
4.
Wow.
All of last season,
Wow.
Tennessee's leading touchdown getter, I believe it was Ty Chandler.
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing this via my guy Ryan Shumpert on Twitter,
That would make sense.
writer for Rocky Top Insider in Knoxville, saying last year Tennessee's rushing touchdown leaders had 4 touchdown runs.
That's crazy.
Now, we were told when Josh Heupel got this job by Josh Heupel, this team would run the football more than what people give them credit for.
Yep.
Obviously, you have to have a good offensive line in order to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee's not going to be able to knock guys around like they did against Missouri today. Missouri gave up, I think, about 300 rushing yards against Southeast Missouri this season.
Yep.
So this is one of the worst. This rushing defense ranked 129th out of 130 in FBS. So we knew that Tennessee was going to be able to run the football. That's not what gets me super excited today, as much as the pace and the way that Tennessee was able to throw the ball downfield a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a bad rushing defense really bad.
Yes,
It makes a bad passing defense really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly how Arkansas beat Tennessee last year. I remember looking around and saying, I wish Tennessee could just scheme guys wide open and make up a talent gap against a team, because Tennessee was more talented than Arkansas last year, and Arkansas beat them.
Yep.
Tennessee now has the kind of offense that's going to say, all right, these are your weaknesses. The way we're going to run and as quickly as we're going to run plays are going to amplify your weaknesses by about 5.
Yeah.
That's what Tennessee was able to do today. So, yeah, Missouri's bad at stopping the run. We knew that. Tennessee is still running up and down the field in Columbia, Missouri. They carried the ball for 458 rushing yards today. That's 7.8 yards per carry.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, Slay, they also stopped the run.
Yeah.
Tyler Beatty, former Briarcrest running back out of Memphis, was held in check in this game, and that was a big question mark. I think this rushing defense for Tennessee is legit.
And talking about Beatty is a guy that is really, really talented. More than likely should, can't say could, but should get an opportunity to play in the NFL at the next level, because that man is dynamic as far as running the ball, hitting the holes, catching the ball out of the backfield, does it all.
Yeah.
So kudos to him. But outside of that, I said in the Pittsburgh game, this front line is different. Like we saw it in Bowling Green game. We saw it in the Pittsburgh game. Then Tennessee Tech, it was what was supposed to be done. But that Pittsburgh game right there kind of told the tale for me. I was wondering why guys were switching in and out so much. They're trying to keep them back. But now you're starting to get guys healthy and in tune with what's going on. And then you bring a guy in like Byron Young. Like, wait a minute. You got him and Tyler Barron coming off the edge.
Byron Young was so close to getting his first sack twice today.
Dude, so exactly what he has going on is exactly what I see out of Danico Autry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're both chomping at the bits to get it. Like, they are right there, man. So that is good to see. I saw in the Florida game against a line that totally abused the Alabama defensive line.
Yeah.
And did exactly what they want. Outside of the depth and the fatigue being a factor in the Tennessee game, that front line held its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like the entire game of Florida. So to come back and see the same thing in this game and them only getting better, and I see the discipline in them. You don't see guys shooting way upfield or, like being out of line, not being on their assignment. Like you see the discipline that Rodney Garner is bringing to it, man, and it is doing wonders for these guys. I know they love going to practice. I know they love going to film session. And this is what Hyper was meaning when he made the comment when we break and guys, they walk up the steps different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was joking, like, what is he talking about, man? But this is what he means. Like, guys are rushing, not head down, like, oh, man, we got to go to film study. We got to do that. No, they're eager to go learn more because they're tapped in, and the people that are showing them and giving them the information is working. So they see the rewards from it. So this D-line is very, very good, and it can only get better. And this, I can't wait to see in a couple of weeks, if that, it may be a couple of months, the big kid that goes to Powell,
Walter Nolan.
I can't wait to see who he chooses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you in the backyard.
He was down in Florida last week, too.
Yeah,
Yep.
you see it with your own eyes.
Uh-huh.
Hey, man, hey, boy, if this is my goal, and I know it's straying away from it, but if you can keep this staff intact for the next 4 years,
yeah,
something going to be brewing on Rocky Top.
And I think Tim Banks
Yes.
deserves more credit for the style of defense that he has called and that he has schemed, because Josh Heupel is rightfully going to get a lot of credit for the way that he has gotten guys wide open.
Yep.
Jeremy Banks today is the best example of the development I think this staff has made. Brian Jean-Marie, Mike Eckler, Rodney Garner, Willie Martinez, and Tim Banks as the defensive coordinator. Jeremy Banks today had 4 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss that lost a total of 11 yards. And he had a sack and an interception that was returned for 32 yards, very close to being a pick 6. Byron Young, 2 quarterback hurries. Solon Page, another quarterback hurry for him. And Danico Slaughter, that's a guy that was everywhere. Where'd that come from Danico Slaughter today?
Right. He was everywhere. Listen, it's opportunities. It's not only in the offensive end, it's the defensive end. Like I remember after watching the Bowling Green game, I'm like, man, why don't they let Elijah Simmons keep playing, man? He's dominating early on. It's room for opportunity. Everybody gets a chance. Now, if you fumble your chance, now you probably got to work your way back.
Right.
But outside of that, man, it is opportunity. So I think we'll see more guys getting opportunity, and we'll see more names. We'll be like, man, wait a minute, where did he come from? Because they itching at the bit to get in there.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like a defense that's just so much deeper than what we expected.
Right.
Aaron Beasley led Tennessee in tackles today, I believe, with 8. Looking at the box score, Aaron Beasley had 8 tackles today and a tackle and a half for loss. Kenneth George Jr., 5 tackles. Tamarian McDonald gets in there and makes 5 tackles. Trayvon Flowers wasn't available today, and you saw a ton of dudes just stepping up. Christian Charles was a guy that was in there early,
Right.
Getting the start for the injured Trayvon Flowers. Tamarian McDonald played a lot. Theo Jackson was in a little bit at safety, putting Danico Slaughter a little bit more in kind of that star role. He was at safety a little bit. It was hard to keep up with what Tennessee was doing defensively, which is a good thing, because if we're not keeping up with it watching it on TV, odds are, the coaches are having a little bit of trouble keeping up with. Now, wait a minute. This guy hadn't been out there at all.
Who is this guy? Somebody get some film on this guy.
Right. 615-737-1045 if you want to join the conversation. What's your favorite part of this Tennessee win? If you are a Vols fan driving around Nashville today, maybe you are in East Tennessee, you're listening to us on the app, we want to hear from you, 615-737-1045. And you can interact with us, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch with the new Twitter Live change. Not able to comment directly with us on Twitter. So go ahead and hop on YouTube.
Yep.
If you're hanging out with us on Twitter at 1045 The Zone right now, give us a comment live right there in the chat. Melissa chiming in on Facebook this afternoon saying, my favorite play, the 35-yard pass to Javonte Payton. Love that play. Hope to see it more. Slade, Javonte Payton.
Yeah.
Hillsborough High School's finest.
Nashville native.
Has had himself a good couple of weeks catching the football from Hendon Hooker. That's 2 straight games with a deep ball touchdown for him. His speed Man, I'll tell you what, it's a shame that this guy's a grad transfer and this is going to be it for Tennessee having him. That's the kind of receiver that Josh Heupel loves in this kind of offense.
Yeah, without question. And you putting it in a place where he can go get it. It's like they know their receivers. It's like they're practicing with the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And Hendon Hooker, you're seeing him. I think you're right in that Hendon Hooker is starting to develop more and more chemistry.
Yep.
The more games he plays as the QB1, and he's going to be the quarterback one for the duration of this season.
Yes.
You're starting to see him get more and more comfortable there.
Yes, you are, and that's exactly what we wanted. Like all we kept on saying the first three games, first three weeks of the season. Man, if we could just hit on some of those deep balls, if we could just hit them, well, now we're getting them.
Yeah, right.
Now we're hitting on them. Now we're getting the ball to guys in space that can really do something. Like we didn't understand exactly what Velus Jones brought to the game, but Heupel did. So when they were running the bubble screens and things like that, or the quick hitches and the quick slants to Velus to try to get him the ball quickly to get in space, and he wasn't getting that opportunity. It was like, man, where's Velus at?
Yeah.
Now he's getting that opportunity. You saw today, bubble screen, quickly make a guy miss, and he took it to the house. So you're going to see more things like that. You're going to see more times out of Javonte Payton when he's able to play one-on-one, and that's what it's about. Scheming to get one-on-one matchups to get a guy get an opportunity to go up and get the ball. We saw Tillman more. Love to see how he bounced back after having that big drop. It was and that could have been a blow to his mental as far as, man, I got to hurry up and make up for it.
Right.
Today he looked more relaxed, like he was still within himself. 4 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. That's big. And I think Heupel probably looked at him and was like, man, we got to get you an opportunity to make up for it. So don't stress over it. Don't be like, man, you're not going to get more, because there's going to be plenty more opportunities. And that's what you got to love to see. Another guy that we didn't even get to see a lot of, and Tyon Evans and Hooker had a day, but imagine if Jabari Small didn't get hurt.
Jabari Small, I think, had a little
way.
bit of a shoulder issue, 3 carries for 38.
Yeah.
And Jabari Small sitting there on the sidelines like, guys, I had 12 yards per carry. I know it's a blowout, and you're not going to put me back in a blowout, but, like, I had 12 yards per carry. Come on, give me something.
He was right there knocking on the door too, man. So that's what it is, opportunity. You got the young man, the freshman, Laneith Whitehead. He got in, he got some time.
He was terrific.
Hey, man, like, it's quiet as kept. We thought, okay, so you go into the season, Will, and we're at this point. This is what, 5 games in?
You are, at this point,
3-2.
Yes.
So it's 5 games in.
This team hasn't gone below 500 yet this year.
Hello. And outside of that, you come into the season, you don't have a quarterback. You really don't have an offensive line because guys have left.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a running back. Your 2 top running backs are gone. Ty Chandler and Eric Gray. Your receiver, you got Velus transferring in. You got guys, Jalen Hyatt, who we expected to be the guy.
He hasn't played really at all.
Exactly. But you still see guys emerging. Like, you're still plugging. And this is what Heupel is saying. We haven't even scratched the surface.
Right.
Like, we don't even have a full offensive line yet.
No.
We don't even have all our weapons at receiver yet. Like,
imagine what that offensive line today does with Cooper Mays in there, too.
Oh, my God.
No disrespect to Ollie Lane, who played a great game at left guard, and
game.
Jerome Carvin, but, I mean, Cooper Mays is your starting center for a reason.
Come on, man.
And he's one of your best offensive linemen for a reason.
Without question. And leaders as well. So, man, just wait, people. Like, when he say we haven't scratched the surface of it, I really believe he means that. And I cannot wait. To see what's on the horizon of this Tennessee offense. And like you said earlier, Tim Banks, we got to keep him.
Yeah.
Let's keep him.
Absolutely.
Like, hold on tight as we can, because, woo, man, I'm telling you, boy, if I'm another university, I'm at the door.
Yep.
I'm knocking. And he's one that could bolt. But let's hold on to him at least for 3 more years, man, before he go take a head coaching job or something somewhere. And we're going to get some great things, man.
615-737-1045 is how you join the show. What's your favorite part about this Tennessee win against Missouri today? Richard will lead us off when we come back. It is the Tennessee Tailgate Show, and it's 1045 The Zone.
Yes, sir.
I've put a lot of thought into my girlfriend's engagement ring. Did all the research, shopped around, and got lots of opinions. At first, I was planning on getting her a lab-created diamond. But after my visit to
62-24, Tennessee, a winner today in Columbia, Missouri. And it is your chance to react. 615-737-1045, the phone number. You can join us on 1045 The Zone TV, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. Will Boling, Ron Slay with you. We go to the phones where Richard is in Kentucky to react to this Tennessee win. Richard, how are you?
I'm great. Fellas, do you know how long it's been since we've had a quarterback who could read a situation, read a defense, get into the right play, and execute it? Hallelujah.
Absolutely, Richard.
Amen, brother. Amen. You are preaching, Richard. That is exactly what we need.
Richard, how are you?
Richard, you got to turn your radio down a little bit, Richard.
Yeah, you got to turn the radio down. Richard, tell us about your favorite part of this win today. Oh, Richard's dropped. Okay.
Oh, okay. Richard, he heard himself and then turned it back down. Hey, Richard, that's what it's about.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I like to hear
we
myself,
appreciate
too.
the interaction.
Right, I'm with it.
Slay, can Tennessee finish third in the SEC East?
You know what? Will, let me tell you this.
South Carolina and Vandy's not finishing ahead of them.
No.
Missouri's not finishing ahead of them.
Nope. So
it's Tennessee and South Carolina, or Tennessee and Kentucky for third in the SEC.
Yep. And right now I listen. Because I gotta watch myself on this. 'Cause I want to be a realist at the same time, but I want to be honest with the people. I want to be honest, but I can't just go against what I believe. Now, can Tennessee finish third? Yes, without question.
Okay.
They can finish third.
Okay.
Will they finish third? Let me look. I'm pulling up right now Kentucky's remaining schedule.
I was going to say, because the thing working against you there is that Tennessee's West opponents this year.
That's the thing.
Are Ole Miss and Alabama.
And you got them back to back. And honestly, so I came into it saying 6 wins is a great season. They may be able to get to 7. Let's see.
Yeah.
Kentucky has LSU. That should be a loss at Kentucky.
Yep.
But we don't know.
We don't know. And Florida today, too.
Yeah. That could be. Yep.
That's always an interesting game for some reason.
Exactly. We don't know which Coach O team will show up.
Right.
So the Florida, I'm expecting Florida to take care of business. Expecting LSU to take care of business. Then they got Georgia, so they could have 3 losses in a row and could drop them immediately below us because next we have South Carolina, which will give us 2-1 in the SEC. It would give them problems by losing today. Then they finish with Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and that's it in the SEC. So
I think that Kentucky game, very winnable for Tennessee on the road.
Yeah, without question.
That's the thing is that so many games just became winnable for Tennessee today.
Yep. And so my problem with that is in the beginning of the season, the toss-up game was Pittsburgh. I counted that as a win, so that counted in to give us a 7th win. But take that away, and you go beat Kentucky, you go beat Vanderbilt, you beat South Carolina. Who am I missing?
Get Ole Miss in there for Tennessee.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be.
You beat Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Kentucky.
Yep.
That's 3 right there. That's 4 SEC wins.
Yep.
You go 4-4 in the SEC.
I think you can go get it.
Now, is getting third in the SEC East that big of an achievement?
This year, without question.
Well, this year, I don't know if it is this year, though.
No, I think it is, Will.
As bad as Missouri is?
Reason being, because if you go back to the beginning of the season, Will, we don't even have a team.
Well, that's this is like what was like the Vanderbilt 9 a couple years ago when Vandy had like 9 scholarship basketball players.
Exactly.
That's basically what Tennessee's doing right now, but they're actually winning games.
With still looming a gray cloud over our head of the NCAA.
Right. But this team could still not go to a bowl game just because of the NCAA.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and with the depth that we have, I expect. I just wanted excitement. So anything over the excitement where we are and where we're headed right now, most definitely third in the SEC, without question. Brent, I can't wait to bring this up. Yeah, in the SEC East. I'm sorry. Right. Yeah, Brent had them third from last. He had Georgia, Florida, Missouri, and Kentucky over.
I had Missouri ahead of him, but I had Tennessee 4th coming into the season.
Me and you was right there together.
Missouri was the biggest miss that I had this year.
Me too.
I like Eli Drinkwitz. I like Connor Bazelak. I like the vibe around the way Eli Drinkwitz kind of carries himself.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm learning now is that Eli Drinkwitz knows how to talk the talk. He doesn't know how to back it up yet in the SEC.
Very true.
You can win a couple games and surprise some people in the SEC in year one.
Yep.
I think Lane Kiffin is learning now that you don't really surprise Alabama anymore and put up a ton of points against them when you got that 12 next to your name instead of a lack of a number next to their name. So that's going to be the biggest question moving forward for Josh Heupel. But we're not even going to get to that yet because he's only won one SEC game. So
yeah, exactly.
It's not time to have that conversation about him yet. Dallas chiming in on Facebook Live saying, favorite part of today's win, how fantastic the offense looked, getting to the line quickly with no confusion, ready to go. This, I think, is an element of Hendon Hooker starting to feel more confident and more comfortable as the quarterback one of this team.
Yep.
It was a really tough challenge putting him in at halftime against Pittsburgh and expecting him to be up to speed, ready. I mean, it's a new offense for him.
Yep.
It's a new offense for everybody. But that's a different animal coming in as a quarterback one versus coming in as wide receiver 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
And replacing somebody in a different position. You got to not only know your job, you have to know everybody's job.
Exactly.
If you're coming in as a backup quarterback in the middle of a game. Slay, is it fair to say at this point that Tennessee beats Pittsburgh if Hendon Hooker plays like this the entire game?
I think it is. I think it is fair to say that, and the reason being because with Hooker, we haven't seen that stall in the offense. You know what I'm saying? With the problem with that Pittsburgh game was in the second quarter, we didn't get to have the ball. You know, we went 3 and out, and now of course one of the passes was dropped by Fant, the tight end, and then another one I forgot who was coming across the middle. I think maybe Hyatt, but those passes were dropped. They could have extended the drive, you know, and got the first down. But he's put it in positions where either he's done it with his feet, his IQ, or his passing. And that's all you can ask for. Give the guys an opportunity. You don't see nothing forced. Like I've yet to see a time when he's played and I've been like, come on, man. Now, why would you do that? Just take this. Now, you know, and there's been times when I've been like, man, come on, take a deep shot. But I'm okay because 2 weeks ago we were talking about with Hooker, the problem with him that scares us is can he take care of the ball? We don't see that as a problem right now, you know. So
not at all today.
He's growing and maturing as he is learning more and more in this role, and that's spot on. So with Hooker in that Pittsburgh game, for sure I think we win it because Pittsburgh having the ball is what gave them confidence and momentum. And the biggest thing in football, especially college football or high school football, is momentum. You get momentum on your side, you'll run through anybody.
Yeah.
So and that's what Pittsburgh was able to get to be able to stay in that game. Then they held the ball, so many other things, so many other elements in that game. But with him in the game, without question, I think we go and win that game against Pittsburgh. Look at Alabama.
I agree. Alabama is doing just stupid things to Ole Miss right now. And we're going to get to our trip around the SEC segment here in a minute. Ron Slay is not happy to ever Alabama watch Alabama have success. Kind of like Kentucky in basketball.
Bingo.
Same fan base, too. 615-737-1045, the number. Rob is in Murfreesboro and is on the phone lines to chat about this one. Rob, welcome in. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Great, Rob.
Hey, Ron. Let me say, first of all, what a pleasure it was to get to see you play basketball for the Big Orange. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support, my brother.
Hey, Ron, I want to get your comments on something. For me today, I think that the defense was dang near as impressive as the offense. Everybody wants to talk about the offense, of course, because of all the points. But the defense really, really played well today because one of the touchdowns was really after the game was over. We had our subs in there. And then another one of their touchdowns was on a kick return. So I think the defense, the first-string defense, only gave up 10 points to a team that everybody said was going to score a lot of points on us. So I was really impressed with that. I was wondering, Ron, what you had to say, and I'll hang up and listen.
All right,
Thank you,
Rob. I appreciate
Rob.
it, Rob. My take on it, I agree with you. I think we gave a lot of props to Gardner. We gave a lot of props to Tim Banks for getting this defense ready, scheming up things to put people in positions where they can use their strength. I think that's one of the biggest things. Another thing about this defense that I think we forget because we are in a right now society, like especially in sports, like it's most definitely what have you done for me lately. But this defense even on some of those drives, Missouri was getting plays and getting clicking, but this defense in the past would have broken. This defense is really being, and we got to see the other team go in the end zone, because this team with the athletic guys they got up front, a play can happen at any moment. And the savvy guys they got at the second level, like you see Banks with the interception. You see Taylor last week when Florida was driving to go get the strip fumble. You see Tyler Barron getting tip passes and guys picking it off. Same thing with Byron Young. Like, you see all these guys working. So I'm with you. This is a defense that is I don't want to say playing way above their expectations, because I'm sure their expectations were there, but because of the depth, we didn't know what was coming into it, and it was overshadowed by the offense. So, yeah, I agree with you. The defense has stepped up, and I love it. Now, I would like to see everybody in the secondary working a little better, but I just think that's time, and a lot of those guys are young. You know, the older guys are stepping up, but, you got the guys Theo Jackson and people like that, and Alontae that's stepping up, but just imagine we had 4 people back there. Then you throw a nickel in there. Then you got Banks roaming. Then it just starts to get spooky and scary. That's what we'll be able to get to soon.
Spooky season.
Yeah, there you go. But right now, I love where they are, man. They showed me so many times that they have the opportunity, and I've seen the last 2 years where this team would break, and you'll see finger pointing. It's so many mistakes being made in the secondary, and yet have I seen a guy look at the next and point at him and be like, that's his fault. I haven't seen that yet. That's why I love the body language, commend the coaches for making these guys move as a unit and to keeping the positive energy around us. So, yes, most definitely, I salute this defense, and I agree with you.
This defense held a really good running back in Tyler Beatty to 21 carries for 41 yards, 2 yards per carry. Elijah Young, Knoxville native from South Doyle High School, 3 carries for 16 yards. B.J. Harris, former Macaulay running back, also from Tennessee. They got a lot of Tennessee running backs.
I was going to say, wow.
And that's their top 3 running backs.
And that's
Memphis, Knoxville, and Chattanooga.
That's the problem. That's what we got to get back to, my bad, Will. But we got to circle the state, man. Fence it off. So go ahead, Will.
He just had 1 carry for 15. So today, Missouri carries the ball 30 times for 74 yards. 2.5 yards per carry. Connor Bazalek, the quarterback, 27 of 44. 322 yards looks pretty impressive. I don't know why Missouri tried to run it as much as they did.
Yeah.
Early on in this game, I actually thought that Missouri's offense was okay, but those penalties had a similar effect on Missouri's offensive momentum than what Tennessee had against Florida and against Pittsburgh. You look at the penalties in this game, Tennessee 2 for 20, Missouri 9 for 97.
Yeah.
And if you give this Tennessee offense an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Yeah.
Like the way they did in this first half. Not only did Missouri turn the football over, the penalties stalled some really good drives by Connor Bazalek in this offense. And then you throw the ball to Jeremy Banks and you throw the ball to this Tennessee defense. You're just not going to beat this Tennessee offense when you can't stop the run either. You can't. You got to do one of those things well. And Missouri didn't really do anything well today.
Yeah, and to your point, you asked why did Missouri just try to come out and just keep running the ball. I'm going to tell you why, Will. Because they looked at the numbers and didn't believe what they saw. They looked at the numbers, and you see a team like Florida gashed them. But Florida didn't just win that game by running the ball. Yes, Emory Jones at the end of the game broke some big runs, but the game was well in hand at this time, so it added to the stats. Also, that game was broken open by drop passes, which Tennessee can correct, and the pass by Florida being able to open up the game, because they tried to run the ball, and it just didn't go that well for them. That's why the game was like it was at halftime. But fatigue and a war of attrition kicks in, and then you got a whole different separate issue. But you look at this Tennessee team, and you're like, man, I can run the ball. You see one linebacker down. You see one in the game, and he's kind of roaming and being a rover. He's in the line of scrimmage. He's back. You got guys like Theo Jackson coming up to make tackles. You're like, man, we can overpower them guys.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
They playing with a different type of heart, a different type of energy, and everybody is playing their assignment, man. You see a lot of the discipline, and it can get better. I'm not saying it's not going to get better, but it can get better. But what we're seeing They didn't believe it. I would look at it if I didn't watch them that much and you looked at the numbers like, man, we probably can run on Tennessee, man. You know, if we can just get the front four blocked, we can get to that second level, it could be a problem. But you got those big guys up there holding their lane, man, and it's not – them open areas are not there. And by the time you get there, you got guys like Theo Jackson coming down. You got guys like Jeremy Banks filling the hole. So people want to hit. That's the good thing.
Yep.
Last year you saw a lot of missed tackles, people hitting and bouncing off. No, not this year. People are wrapping up, and that's back to the fundamentals of football.
And a lot of Florida's success, I think, in that area was just because Florida's really good.
Yeah,
especially running the football.
Exactly.
615-737-1045. An Alabama defender just got a targeting penalty. And I looked up immediately to see the reaction from Nick Saban, and they didn't show it. It's one of my favorite things. That favorite is a weird word. It's one of the funniest things in an Alabama game that's a blowout is watching something go wrong for Alabama and watching Alabama head coach Nick Saban just lose it. Absolutely lose it.
And the funny thing is, they can't even make this interesting.
No.
They can't even make this interesting.
42-7 Alabama right now. Ole Miss is driving against a bunch of backups.
And Matt Carroll has been running for his life all day long.
Matt Corral is officially out of the Heisman race. You don't get beat 42-7 by anybody and win the Heisman Trophy.
Nope, you don't.
In 2021.
Nope.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump in. Still to come on today's show, Ron Slay and I's players of the game and Tennessee's 62-24 win over the Missouri Tigers, plus a look around the SEC at a couple of scores that have gone final, some games that are still in progress. South Carolina, we will talk about them as well. Tennessee's next opponent has just had a nightmare moment. A nightmare moment in a close game against Troy. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment as well. It's the Tennessee Tailgate Show with you until 6 o'clock, and it's 104.5 The Zone.
My first plan to spice up the NFL season was to add man-eating tigers to the game. We lost a lot of great players that day, and that was my bad. Now I'm bringing you the Caesars Sportsbook
Don Davenport and Ron Slay. Weekdays starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
It's the Tennessee Tailgate Show on 104.5 The Zone. Wrapping up Vols coverage here on this Saturday. We've still got a half hour left until Baylor and Oklahoma State take over right here on 104.5 The Zone. Kickoff of that one coming up at the top of the hour. 615-737-1045 is how you join us. Will Boling alongside VFL Ron Slay. We go to the phone lines where Mo Exotic is in Murfreesboro to talk with us. Mo, welcome in, my brother. How are you?
How y'all doing, man? Mr. Slay, what'd I tell you yesterday, baby?
You did. You did. You
I
called
told
it.
you them Vols gonna go down there and smack them Tigers, baby.
You called it, baby, and we went and smiggity, smack them.
I told you spread too. Look at them boys out there balling.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Man. Hey, that felt good, man. I told you yesterday I was watching the 5-year anniversary of that Juwan Jennings catch, against Georgia, that Hail Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, it felt good to go down there, man. I loved everything about the game, offense, defense. Only thing I was worried about right there towards the end, I think we should have taken, Hooker out a little earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand, he needed snaps, but, man, God, I hated seeing all the injuries today, but we need a healthy team, coming up these next big games. But,
sure do.
Hey, I'm proud of the boys. I'm proud that they fought all the way to the end, man, and I'm glad I didn't have to, take my words, back yesterday because I thought he going to give me hell about that.
No, I'm riding with it, man. I wanted it to happen, man, and they went up there and did it. But see, guess what? The good thing is we still ain't fully healthy. That's the good thing looking forward, man. You got that on offense and defense. And the way we're controlling the line of scrimmage, it's on, man.
I tell people that, I'm worried about the O-line a little bit, but when them boys get healthy, and it's a young team, there's a lot of young players out there, man. I'm happy with what Hooker's doing. I'm just glad to see them balls not overthrown anymore. It feels good to see that.
Amen.
So I'm happy about the future with this team, man. I'm a realist fan, but I don't get excited too much, but I'm excited for this young man, and I'm just VFL baby, and I just wanted to call in and let you know, man. I told you.
Yeah.
Go Vols!
Yeah, lock the door.
Thank you, Mo. It's a guy right there.
And you know what? To Mo's point, I'm happy for these guys, and like he said, you don't want to overreact, and you want to be a realist about the situation. But coming out of last season, before Heupel got hired, like you heard all the turmoil that was in the locker room, coaches being separate from each other, the kids, the young men, the athletes not wanting to be there, like talking about each other behind their backs, like locker room separated and divided. And to see where we are now, not even fully loaded yet, over 30 players gone, and this is what you get to see. You get to see and hear after games of people not quitting, people wanting to get back to work, people wanting to fight more. Then you get to see coaches, all they're talking about is we love to have every opportunity to get team bonding activities. That's big time, man, because the aura in the locker room, the aura around the football team, around the program is, you can cut it with a knife.
Yeah.
It's so thick of how much joy they are having. And I haven't been up there since the spring game, but I remember in the spring game us sitting upstairs and everybody to a man was saying, man, this is what it's about. Now granted, COVID restrictions were in, so you didn't get to have the full experience of VFL's back. But the ones that were, man, that's all we kept saying. Like, dude, this feels like the old times. It feels like the old times. Like, and that's exactly what we're seeing out there with the play from these guys. So you got a right, Mo. You got a right to feel happy for these guys because they're fighting for it.
This was the first time you kind of saw the positive momentum and the positive vibes that you hear about behind the scenes at UT be played out on the field.
Yep.
It was cool to see that because, look, you can be happy and love each other and play softball and, go bowling and laser tag and all those things, and you could still be really bad at football.
Yes.
But this was the first time we saw Josh Heupel's guys really starting to buy in and starting to show us the results of what we often so hear about doing this job. And that there is kind of a different vibe in Knoxville right now. Let's go back to the phones where you could join us at 737-1045, reacting to Tennessee's win over Missouri. Frying Pan. It's a new one.
I like
As in
that.
Spring Hill. Frying Pan, what's up?
Put him in the frying pan.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. So my call is two-pronged, two parts. The first being football, and the second being basketball. But what I want to say is, it's a happy day and also a sad day for Vol Nation.
Yes.
The first is obviously the way, Tennessee football looked today. It's been how many years since we scored 60-something points, and just the execution and how they look, and seeing Coach Heupel and his staff coach his team up, and just the fight those guys have got. And then on the second part, sad. I saw the post on Facebook about Major Wingate.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching him play basketball. And Ron, you may have probably known him. It's after you, but just a really good dude, man. Talking to him after a game one time, it was Nashville after Tennessee had beat Vanderbilt. And we waited on the players to come out with Coach Pearl, and he had some SpongeBob SquarePants pants on, and man, we got a kick out of that. But he was like, "Yeah, my mom's made these," and we love Major Wingate, man. So just prayers for his family and this tragic loss. But hey, guys, thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Frying Pan. This was something we were going to get into here at the end of the show, but Slay, obviously a kind of a bittersweet day for Tennessee fans with the passing of Major Wingate.
Yeah, man, it's in the second in the matter of 3 weeks. You lost Paris Harrison first, and then now behind that you see Major Wingate. You lose him, man, too early, too soon. I remember when he came in 2003, so he was there on his visit when I was there for a senior and then committed. But got to hang with him because I was always back in the summer. And the young guy, man, with a boatload of talent. Man, I always remember him walking around with the little silly snake. He had a silly little python snake up there too. So that was crazy. But man, a boatload of talent, great dude, man. But you never know what people are going through, man. Never know what they're going through. That's why it's always good, man, to call and check on guys, and answer your phone, even if it's for 2 minutes or a minute. Tell the person, man, I appreciate you calling that, but I got something I got to get back to and handle real quick. But I'll reach back out to you. You never know what answering that phone call will mean, man. And if you're struggling with anything, it's hotlines for you to hit, man, or talk to somebody you trust that can get some help for you, man. So, everybody has a story, man, and everybody's carrying a burden at times. But hopefully you can lean on somebody. Your faith, a friend, whatever it may be, to help you get through it, man. This is one that's gone way too soon, man, and it was big time in the UT program, especially as far as turning around where Bruce Pearl was able to come in his first year and everything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, that's a tough one. We will miss him.
615-737-1045. Who is your player of the game today for Tennessee? Really, it is such a bittersweet day for the Vols, and of course, our thoughts, our prayers with the Tennessee basketball community, of which our guy VFL Ron Slay, of course, is a big part of. Thinking about that community with Major Wingate passing away. Slay, we're going to get to our players of the game here at the end of the show, but first, we take a look around the SEC, where Lane Kiffin, God help him. Lane Kiffin told us to have our popcorn ready, and I'm sitting here with a bucket of popcorn, and I don't know what to do with it.
You'll never get to touch it, Lane. You'll never get to touch it.
He basically gave us a stale bag of popcorn that's been expired for like a couple months that you find in the back of like a Walgreens or something.
Exactly.
42-7, last I checked.
Yeah.
Alabama over Ole Miss. Look, I mean, I'm surprised that people are surprised about this.
So they just scored 42-14.
42-14.
Finally, woo!
There we go. Wow. Big score there. I mean, look, like, you just don't catch Nick Saban off guard twice.
Oh.
You don't beat Nick Saban the same way twice.
Especially at home.
The way he has evolved over time is what separates him from everybody else who's ever coached college football. Because if you showed Nick Saban in 2021 a tape of the way he runs his offense versus what he did in 2007, 2008, 2009, it's a night and day difference.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin, it's the worst thing that could have happened to Ole Miss in 2021 against Alabama was what happened in 2020 and playing them close. I didn't think this one was going to be close, and this is pretty much what I expected. I know you bought into the hype, though.
I can't believe
Ron Slay, you're not happy about it.
I'm PO'd about it, man, because I said at the beginning of the week, well, actually during the bye week for Alabama, I had been talked into by my co-host, Brent Daugherty and Don Davenport. They were like, man, this could be the year.
No.
This could be the year that they get it done. Like, that defense is a little better for Ole Miss. Lane going to put up points. And
Brent.
and I was saying, like, dog, are y'all serious? Like, he played them close last year. Like, this isn't going to turn into all of a sudden Ole Miss and Alabama going back and forth trading blows. Like, one year Ole Miss get them, 1 year Alabama get them. Now, until that man retires, that man got a stronghold on the entire college game, like all of it, let alone the SEC, and let alone the people that have coached under him. So, man, I'm so mad at myself because I said, man, and I was gonna pick Buck Fama, but I didn't do it, and I'm hot at myself about it. I drunk the lane train. I looked at the points. It was 14.5. Then later in the week it jumped to 17.5. I'm like, oh, man, come on. They got to be able to keep it close. Lo and behold, man, I should have known better, man.
42-14. Bryce Young, 19 of 25, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And what is Matt Corral?
Let's see.
What is he doing right now? Because
he is not having a good time.
Yeah, because he was a Heisman front runner coming into this thing.
19 of 24, 200 yards.
Yeah, and that what's going on is not in the stats.
Right.
Because he's
it's
sprinting
the plays
for
they're
his
not
life.
hitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
He's sprinting for his life. And he has weapons. Of course, Domingo is out today, but still.
The guy who's become a star today for Alabama, Brian Robinson, the running back. 31 carries for 161 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Goodness.
That's Tyon Evans-like numbers right there.
No, and you know what this no, and see, I'm gonna tell you the worst thing that could have happened for him also. Outside of Ole Miss playing them tight last year.
Yeah.
Alabama got away with a win in Florida. And the takeaway from that game was, ooh, did you see Florida manhandle Alabama?
Yeah.
Did you see them? They were way more physical.
And when you think of Ole Miss, you don't think of physicality and manhandling. You think of speed. You think of anything but that.
And on top of that, now you got to look at it as imagine what Alabama is going through in film study and what Nick Saban is saying to these young men week in and week out leading up to this game. That's why you see when you see 28 carries, 31 carries for 140-plus yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground, that's saying, hey, no, we're more physical. We're going to hit you in the mouth, and what you going to do about it?
Yeah.
We're going to show the nation that was a good game by Florida, great game plan. Y'all had y'all day, but this right here is different.
I think Bryce Young's going to win the Heisman.
Man, that's
I'm not happy about it, but I think Bryce Young is going to win the Heisman.
That's wild.
Elsewhere around the SEC, South Carolina, Tennessee's next opponent, is in a tight one with Troy. We were watching this video in the break. South Carolina had a fumble return that should have been a touchdown, and our guy dropped the football about 6 inches away from scoring. Important to not do that when playing American tackle football. So right now, you've got South Carolina with the ball facing 3rd and 14 at the Troy 22, leading the Trojans 20-14 with 8:17 to go. Luke Doty, 20 for 34, 255 yards and a touchdown. Slay, Tennessee's got to win that one at home next weekend.
Yeah, I think you get a team like South Carolina coming into your home. They're battered and bruised. To me, this team is worse off than Tennessee was, and we dealt with so much more. Now they dealt with a coaching change as well, and Beamer's trying to get his brand of ball in there, but it looks like Heupel is way ahead of the curve when comparing to another coach that was taking over a school. But I mean, a program. This team coming in there to Rocky Top to play. Not only are they coming in battered, and Tennessee's coming off a big-time win on the road against a Mizzou team that was picked to beat them. But on top of that, the cherry on top is Al Wilson is getting inducted to the College Football Hall of Fame that same day. So
it's going to be a good atmosphere.
Oh, you better believe it, man. And then coming off this Missouri game.
The way they played today, I think it's going to be packed full. It's going to be good.
what's the AD?
Danny White.
Danny White.
Yep.
Danny White was about 3 weeks ago. We had the opportunity to talk to him on 3HL, and he was a little nervous. He was like, "Man, we got to get fans in the seat." Danny, listen. As long as this product keeps looking like this and they go out and compete like this, ever since Florida and Missouri game, we talked to him the week before. You got 2 away games, got them down out the way. He fought in both games. I'm guaranteeing, Vol Nation will come out in droves, and it will be extremely loud when South Carolina comes.
I think so, too. Just the way this game went today, I think Tennessee fans are going to be really excited to get back at Neyland Stadium and see this team for a couple games at home.
Yes.
With Ole Miss around the corner as well, with Georgia, who gets a 37-0 win over Arkansas today coming to town. How about Georgia? Stetson Bennett today was 7 for 11 for 72 yards, and Georgia won 37-0.
Hey, man.
This is the best defense in the country.
Hey, man, listen.
And I don't think it's close.
Listen here, Will. Put me on record.
Okay.
I will never, ever underestimate Georgia's defense this year.
No.
The rest of this year.
After
what they did to Vanderbilt, which I thought could not be done to a conference opponent.
One of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen in the college football game.
I can't see that. Like, you're telling me a conference opponent cannot score at all. Nothing.
And now twice.
They've
given up 23 points this year.
Then the number 8 team in the nation comes in, and everybody's like, "Oh, this could be the one."
College game day. You got Kirk on the call.
Hey, man, this is not it. This defense is serious. And if you heard them talk during the week, if you can tap into the athletes and you give them something like Dawn all the time says that, we really want to hear what the athletes have to say. So don't scold them when they say something and they wear their emotions on their sleeve. Cool. Tap into what Georgia is saying. Like, man, we don't want nobody getting in the end zone. This is their defense talking. We take it as a slap in the face if the opponent gets in the end zone. Not beats us.
It's crazy.
But even if they just get in the end zone. Hey, Georgia, newsflash. The other team's trying to get in there. Like, it's supposed to sometimes.
It's okay. Like it's going to happen a couple times.
You can still fight. Like, they don't want them in another. Like, hey, man, this team different, dude.
37-0. James Cook leading the Bulldogs on the ground, 12 carries for 87. Their leading receiver had 1 catch for 27 yards.
Oh, wow.
And they beat a good SEC team in Arkansas. 37-0. Still to come tonight, Mississippi State and Texas A&M. Fascinated by that matchup. I have no read for that, and my money is staying far away from that one. A&M a touchdown favorite, and I have no confidence in A&M to do anything because I don't think they're any good. Auburn LSU. Auburn has not won in Death Valley since 1999.
Wow.
1999. I was 2 the last time that Auburn won at LSU. LSU a field goal favorite in that one. And then, so you have any loose change?
I may have some.
You want to go to UConn Vandy for $1?
I doubt it. I'm not doing that. Man, listen, we have Peter Burns on.
Vandy is catching a tough stray bullet again on this show. For the second.
And you know what, Will? What they got to show me. Now Vandy is a favorite, 14.5 point
Vandy
favorite.
fans, I'm sorry.
14.5
No, I'm not. I'm not sorry at all.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you why I'm not sorry no more, Will. I'm going to tell you the truth. Because all year long, as short as it's been, this season, I've been cheering for Vandy. Like, after week 2. Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Yeah,
because I like the takeover. I like what Clark Lee.
I do like Clark Lee.
And I like the energy he brought to it. But when they let Randy Sanders come down here and do that over there at Vanderbilt, I said, now, wait a minute. Now, no, this is what I'm witnessing.
I love getting Slay started on Vanderbilt.
This ain't right.
It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, this ain't right, Will. And then after that, I'm like, okay, now they got to go on the road. They got to go get a victory at Colorado State. They got to, or they can't come back to the SEC. They went and did that. Then what they put up against Stanford was all right with a fight because I'm cool with that.
Running back gets hurt. There's a lot of obstacles there.
I can understand that. Hey, we don't know what Seals is going to do. Is he healthy? Is he not? And then you got Georgia walking in and do that, and that's why I drew the line. I said, nope.
I'm not messing with that.
Now, from now on, they got to show me, I'm not fooling with them. So here's your opportunity, Vandy.
UConn is, I mean,
they are hard.
They
are horrific.
They've got players just legitimately quitting in the middle of games.
Like, they are horrific.
They are very bad. The under in this game is 51. I've sprinkled that a little bit.
You touched on it.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Does Vanderbilt cover is what I want to know, because I'm never
14
getting
and a half.
on board again.
I actually think they do cover 14 and a half. Okay. I just don't think UConn is scoring more than 10 points, 14 points. And I don't think Vandy can score 40 against anybody in college football. So, like, how are we getting to 51?
This is true.
Someone's going to come back at me because now that I've said that strongly, it's 100% the over is going to hit.
Yeah.
But still.
They got to show us, man. I'm not believing it until I see it.
That's pretty wild. Coming up, we will look ahead to South Carolina, and Ron Slay and I will close the book on Tennessee's win over Missouri with our players of the game. There are tons of choices.
Oh, my gosh, it is.
Like, our producer, Kevin Mumphrey, might have to give us, like, a long break here. I'm kidding, but I'm also kind of not. That I don't know who to pick.
Right.
So hopefully by the time we come back, we will have picked a couple of players. Players of the game, Tennessee Tailgate Show, one final segment coming up next on 104.5 The Zone.
My first plan to spice up the NFL season was to add man-eating tigers to the game. We lost a lot of great players that day, and that was my bad.
wins, and that way we get Milton a few more chances, maybe even Bailey somewhere down the line. But right now, man, Hooker is the guy. That's who we're going to lean on, and that's who we feel most comfortable moving forward with. And that's it right there.
It is a final in another Columbia.
Yeah.
South Carolina gets their second win of the season, 23-14 over Troy.
Okay.
Luke Doty leads the way, 20 of 34, 255 yards and a touchdown. B.J. Smith on the ground for Troy. This is good news for Tennessee right here. B.J. Smith for Troy, 18 carries for 103 and a touchdown. Slay, it's going to be the same philosophy next week as it was today in Columbia, Missouri. Run the football and make South Carolina stop you on the ground. And if you get out to an early lead and Neyland Stadium starts getting a little loud coming up next weekend on Saturday afternoon, it could be a long day for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yes, it could, and hopefully it will be. I think they are a really good coach team, but I think
I do like Shane Beamer.
Yeah, I like him. I like him too. Good personality, lively. We got to see him down at SEC Media Day a little bit, and you know he's a guy he's got to incorporate what he's trying to get done. But I don't think that defense can hold up with what Heupel is putting out there on the field, and with even more so than what he's putting on the field, the confidence that he's putting in these guys to go out and execute and really want to get in the end zone. So I expect Tennessee to go out there and handle business. Going to be interesting. I can't wait to see the line when it comes out on the game. Tennessee should be favored in this game, but hey, who knows? You know, they were underdog coming into the Missouri game.
I want to say I bet it's Tennessee by 7.5.
I think that's
maybe 9.5. I think probably Tennessee by 9.5 is probably your line against South Carolina. Once again, our players of the game here today against Missouri. For me, it's Tyon Evans. For Ron Slay, the offensive and defensive lines. You're kind of cheating on me.
No,
you're cheating by picking what's that? Like you got 9 players you just picked.
I'm just saying, man. I gave it to the big uglies, man. That don't ever get no attention, man.
Ramon Foster would be very pleased.
That's my
guy. Taking a look though, Troy and South Carolina, 23-14 goes final. South Carolina only carried the ball for 102 yards in this game. And 34 of them came on one run by Josh Vann. 27 carries for 102 yards. You take away a 34-yard gain, you're talking about 26 carries for 68 yards. So Tennessee is going to be able to, I think, stop South Carolina on the ground. The question becomes, can Luke Doty throw the football against this Tennessee defense? I still have some questions about this Tennessee secondary, who I think has some talent but still has some question marks for me. I think where Tennessee can have an advantage, getting after the quarterback, affecting Luke Doty, the sophomore quarterback, who has been, okay, but not great for South Carolina this season. I think this can be a really a continuation of the momentum we've seen today for Tennessee's defense. I'm just fascinated to see how good is this Tennessee defense.
Yeah.
It's what nobody's talking about after this game. But Tennessee's defense played pretty well against Florida, and they didn't get any help from their offense on a couple of occasions. And against Pittsburgh in the third quarter, Tennessee's defense, again, doesn't get any help from its quarterback. And you really could have seen Tennessee open up as big a lead as they had today in the first quarter against Pittsburgh if you hit on some big passes. But Slay, your final thoughts today on a big win.
Final thoughts, man. This is exactly what we wanted to see. Keep giving us what we want. That's all we can ask for. Excitement. And then on top of that excitement, go out there and get a win. Oh, we with it, man. Rest in peace, my guy, Major Wingate, man. Tennessee, we love you, brother.
Tennessee, a winner today in Columbia, Missouri, 62-24. They get the win. They head back home. They get South Carolina next Saturday in Neyland Stadium. For Ron Slay, for producer Kevin Mumphrey, I'm Will Boling signing off. We will talk to you next week. The Volunteers victorious. We'll talk to you soon.
From the WynnBET studio, win with WynnBET. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. Your home for Titans and Vols football. 104.5 The Zone.
So then I dropped some garlic and croutons on there, and the rest is salad history. I made the best salad ever, people, and now I'm making the best app. The Caesar Sportsbook app got live in-game betting, parlays, and Caesar rewards. Caesar salad ain't got nothing on my app. Nothing!
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. Your app is ready, Emperor.
Seed season is here, and Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply is ready with all the fertilizers, seeds, pre-emergents, and herbicides needed to get your property ready for winter and next year. September and October are the best time to seed cool season grasses like fescue. We offer professional advice and know-how to DIY your lawn and landscape care. Buy where the pros buy. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Visit us at any of our 8 convenient Middle Tennessee locations and online at dickenssupply.com.
104.5 The Zone.
To Fox Football Saturday, and we're breaking down your football day.
He fumbled in the end zone! Touchdown! Touchdown!
From the plays to post-game, your football teams are wrapped here. Fox Football Saturday is not